Good evening, Rock Hill. It is 6 o'clock and time for our next session of the Parent Academy. So welcome, welcome. We have such a great presentation for you tonight and a few faces that you may be very familiar with. For those who are watching, whether you are grandparents, parents, guardians, you already know and are experiencing the thrills and spills of parenting, because parents are certainly the child's first teacher. And as you know, kids don't come with instruction. Many parents don't know what to do when it comes to their child's development, and parent education is more, certainly, than just teaching, reading, writing, numbers, and colors. We need to support the whole child. So who better to share their expertise tonight than Miss Cindy Tauben-Kimmel and Mr. David Liss. But first and foremost, Cindy's always been our co-host, so we're so happy to have you again as co-host and as a presenter. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you, Dr. Turner, and good evening, Rock Hill.
So let me take a few minutes and introduce Cindy officially, and then David Liss. Cindy Tauben-Kimmel is a coordinator of Rock Hill Schools Parent Smart, which is Parent Education and Family Literacy Partnership, and the coordinator of the Sylvia Circle Family Learning Center. Cindy has served in her current position since Parent Smart's inception in 1995. Prior to coming to Rock Hill Schools, Cindy served as a social worker and activities coordinator in nursing home facilities in Delaware and New Jersey. Cindy earned her bachelor's degree in art with a minor in psychology and master's certification in gerontology counseling from the College of New Jersey. She has obtained additional certifications from the Parents as Teachers National Center, the National Center for Family Literacy, Circle of Security, Parenting, and the Standards of Quality for Family Strengthening and Support from the National Family Support Network. Cindy has also had the honor of serving on the boards of Rock Hill's Commission for Children and Youth, the Early Learning Partnership of York County First Steps, the International Center of York County, and the EFSP Board of the United Way of York County. Cindy is the recipient of the South Carolina First Steps 2004 Best Community Engagement Award, and Rock Hill's #1 question, is it good for the children? Champion for Children Award. Cindy is also the proud parent of 3 daughters and 4 beautiful granddaughters. We welcome you, Cindy.
Thank
David
you.
Liss. Oh, yep. I'm sorry. David Liss is the Senior Executive Director of York County First Steps. David spent over 20 years in a corporate industrial setting, primarily in marketing and business development roles. He has focused the last 18 years on assisting preschool children and their families as they prepare for their children to enter school, initially as the general manager owner for a private child care provider with locations and in North Carolina and South Carolina. During the last 12 years, he has served as the executive director of York County First Steps. The opportunity to work with communities to leverage these relationships to help our future generations reach their life's potential is where he derives the greatest satisfaction. He works to use his business skills to advance the efforts of community organizations, providing early interventions in the most effective manner. A key element to helping young children is to help their mothers and fathers understand the critical role that they play in their child's educational journey. David earned a BS degree in engineering from UNC at Charlotte with continuing education in marketing and business relations from the University of Michigan. He has also received certification from Winthrop University in nonprofit management. Please welcome both Cindy Tauben-Kimmel and David Liss.
Thank you
so
Dr.
much.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All righty. Good evening, everybody. As Dr. Turner said, my name is Cindy Taubman-Kimmel, and I'm the coordinator of ParentSmart, Rock Hill Schools Parent Education Partnership. We have the great honor to serve families and students within our community. I apologize, my PowerPoint is going before me. Tonight, we're going to talk about the thrills and spills of parenting. How can you help your children develop, learn, and grow to realize their full potential? Just so that you're aware, ParentSmart services are available free to families within the Rock Hill School District and surrounding areas. We provide the Parents as Teachers program, where parents are at the heart of education. We also provide family literacy. We provide a teen parent program and other opportunities for parents. And if you will excuse me, I'm going to stop my share. David, I'm having some technical difficulties. Do you want to jump in and then I'll start again after? I
Will do.
apologize.
That's okay. All right, we'll go ahead and get started with York County First Steps. One of the things, and I think this is where, as we blend what Cindy does and what the school district does here and what York County First Steps, we work very, very closely together. And one of the things that I want to highlight is the importance and the fact that all four of our school districts in York County have a significant investment in preschool interventions. There are 80 some odd school districts in South Carolina. Not all of them invest in preschool interventions. And we're very fortunate and very blessed that all four of ours do. And Rock Hill has been a leading agency of investing in preschool interventions and helping parents understand what their roles are for quite some time. So I just want everybody to realize that not every county, not every school district sees this as part of their critical mission, but the Rock Hill School District does, and we're very fortunate to work very closely with them. So as Dr. Turner had indicated, I am the executive director for York County First Steps. We try to fashion ourselves as the early childhood expert for York County. So our mission is preparing children for success in school. It's pretty simple to say, but there's a lot that goes into this, preparing children for success in school. There are a number of different domains that we need to be concerned about of our children, for our children, in order to be ready to go to school. It isn't just learning their ABCs. It isn't just learning their colors. There are so many other domains of learning that they need to know. Plus, they need to go to the doctor. They need to be healthy. They need to be able to see. They need to be able to hear. All of those things help with the learning process as they get ready to go to school. And so those first 5 years, and I'm sure we've all heard this before, you've learned everything you need to know before you're 5 years old. Well, there's a lot of truth to this, and that is that the brain the brain connections, the synapses that go on in order that allow you to speak, allow you to hear, allow you to listen and hear and to see, all of those occur in those first 5 years of after birth. And so a lot of learning and a lot of the preparation of us as individuals happens before we show up at school. And the more we can lean into that, the more we can support that, the more we can nurture those early developmental stages, the better our child will be prepared when they get ready to go to school. So as we look at our client base, we look and we try to help children and families that are at risk and working with those families and supporting the family. So it's not just having the child receive the services, but it's about the parents and about the grandparents, the caregivers, so that they too can support the child's learning development. So parents and their children are eligible. At-risk factors include if there's poverty evident in the families, if the child was born with a low birth weight or prematurely, if there's a teenage mom, if the mother and father didn't finish high school, drug addiction, and then also children with learning delays or disabilities. These are all factors that will play into how well will this child do when they get ready to go to school. So here is a listing of some of our programs, and I'll just touch lightly on these programs as we go through, is that one of our foundational programs is called Nurse Family Partnership. And one of the things that you'll see common through this is the parenting aspect, the parenting element that our programs have throughout our program and our services. So Nurse Family Partnership works with first-time mothers. It begins prenatally. And what it does is it helps that mother prepare for the birth of their first child. And so the first element, the first objective is to help that mother receive prenatal care and to do the things that they need to do in order to have a full term and healthy delivery of the child. Because if it is premature or a low birth weight, the child is going to struggle. They're going to have potentially learning delays and disabilities that will have to receive services early on. So we can get a full term birth, and if we can get a full weight birth, that helps that child be ready to go to school. So Nurse Family Partnership, so that's the first objective. Second is to make sure that the home environment is safe and nurturing. Do they have a crib? Do they have safe sleep? Do they understand what safe sleep is? What about the food that there's going to provide, whether there's breastfeeding, whether they're going to use formula, and then when they go through their transitions into baby food and then adult food, making sure that they're being nutritionally served in order to, again, to hit their development and to hit their growth milestones. The third objective is to help that mother make the decisions as to what do they want to achieve and how do they wish to be self-sufficient and provide not only for themselves, but also for their child. Do they need to go back to school? Do they need to learn a skill? Do they need to change job? Do they need to quit smoking? What are those things that they need to do? And it's all driven by the parent. The parent decides, and the home visitation is actually provided by a degreed nurse. And they act as a mentor as well as a coach to help that parent, that mother, make those type of decisions to provide for themselves as well as for their child. The second, and I think Cindy is going to talk a little bit more about parents as teachers as well, but I'll touch on it here, is that we work with parents as teachers. It is a national model, evidence-based program, as is Nurse Family Partnership. And that means that there has been research and that the model elements, if we perform the model elements as we go through this, that it will deliver the outcomes of that child being ready to go to school and that family in a supportive area and being able to help and assist their child. So that's what evidence-based is bringing to these particular programs. But we help and work with the school districts and with the Rock Hill School District to expand their Parents as Teachers program. They've been doing it and we've been supporting it for over 20 years. So there's been a lot of experience and a lot of success with Parents as Teachers in our community of helping parents understand what their role is as they go into being a parent. How can I nurture my child? And one of the things that we'll talk a little bit about a little bit later is understanding what a 2-year-old needs. What does a 3-year-old need? Because the different phases and different stages that a child goes through, there isn't an instruction manual. We need to understand, hey, this is what a 2-year-old is looking for. And when they're crying and when they're making demands, this is how we can move that. We can focus this effort to where there's positive growth going on and that they're learning the things that they need to learn at 2, 3, and 4 years old. So the parents as teachers, and one of the things that when I go and I speak at Winthrop and I speak at York Tech or other colleges and talk to people that are in early education, one of the things that I do is I always ask them, I says, do you remember who your first teacher is or who your first teacher was? And usually I'll get, well, it was Mrs. Brown or, Mrs. Smith or whatever the name was for their kindergarten or their first grade teacher that really kind of resonates and has made an impression in their learning and in their past. And then I always ask, I said, well, what happened to mom and dad? And they'll go, oh, well, we don't think about that learning and about what goes on in those first 5 years and how integral our parents have been in our upbringing. That's who taught us primarily our colors. We were probably in the back seat of a car and somebody says, do you see that yellow? Do you see that yellow M? Because we were going to McDonald's. And they began to learn their colors. They began to learn their alphabet. As we go through this and learning about literacy, all of those happened at home and they happen with your grandparent, with your parents, and that role is critical to a child's well-being and to a child's sense of learning as they go into getting ready to go to school. So again, we help with our parents as teachers and helping expand the program in Rock Hill in partnership with the school district. Another of our home visitation programs that we're getting ready to launch here during the summer is Countdown to Kindergarten. We have a program that again works with parent educators or with kindergarten teachers or 4K teachers, where they do home visitation for rising children going into either 4K or 5K. And as they get ready to do this, the teacher has a toolkit and has curriculum. They do home visitation over the summer for 5 visits. And they talk about, one lesson is about science, another is about writing, another is about literacy and about social studies and math. And each one of these, the parents are involved. They get to see the curriculum, see what's going on, and begin to help their child in between the home visits be able to develop those skills that they need in order to be successful when they go into kindergarten. And so we work again very closely with the school district. And one of the things that we have discovered as we've gone through and done the research with our Countdown to Kindergarten that has helped it even be more effective is that sometimes the parents as well as the child are very anxious for their child as they get ready to go to big school. They may have been in a child care center, they may be at home, but they're getting ready to go to a large school. They may have to ride a bus. And that anxiety for not only the child, but also for the parents, this helps. They get to go into the school for the 6th visit. They get to meet their teacher, or if their teacher has been their Countdown to Kindergarten teacher, they've met them several times. They've already developed a relationship. And that begins to reduce the anxiety, not only for the child, but also for the parents. And the parents understand because they know that teacher, they understand, hey, this is the role that I need to support my child as they're getting ready to enter into school. So that's been one big area that has been an added benefit to just working on skills and helping expose the children to what they need to know to be successful when they go to kindergarten, and that is the parents. The other benefit that we've had is that the teachers themselves have modified their classroom and they've modified how their day goes, because now they know the children that are coming into their classroom and they have a better idea as to what are their needs as they get ready to start their day. So they've been able to maybe have some quiet time or how they set up where things are, because they now know these children personally because they've been in their home. They know the family. They know what that child needs in order to be ready to learn. Ready to learn as they go forward. So not only are the parents and the children preparing, but the teachers themselves are adapting to what they're learning by doing the home visitation and going in and meeting the families and getting to know their children even before they start school. So that's countdown to kindergarten, to both 4K and 5K. We also have where we work very closely with our child care centers that are in Rock Hill and in York County. We try to elevate the quality of the programs that they work. So we work with them on the curriculum. We also work with by providing training, the professional training development and professional development and training. So we work with them in order to give them what they need to know about early childhood. What are the stages? What are the different learning mechanisms that they can adapt and that they can work with the different children that come into their classroom? So again, we tend to work with child care centers that serve an at-risk population because they seem to sometimes have shortage of resources and shortage of backup in order to be able to have the training and to have the professional development that they need in order to have a quality program or a high quality program. And we help them do that. We also have grants that help put manipulatives and furniture and equipment that they need in order to, again, provide a very good quality program that's out there. So we then work with the child care centers. One of the things that we've had a great partnership, again, with the Rock Hill School District in this is that we host an early childhood conference. We actually host this at Dutchman Creek Middle School, and we partner with kindergarten teachers and early ed teachers to come in and to work with our child care professionals so that they understand what the expectations are in the school district. So they'll know what their children that are in their child care center that are growing into it at 3 and 4, that what do I need to do in order to have this child ready when they go to the Rock Hill School District? And so that partnership has been very fruitful, and being able to help our child care centers provide smooth transitions for the children that are in their care. The last one on this page is called Healthy Steps. We actually have a partnership with one of the pediatric clinics here in Rock Hill, where they have hired through our assistance 2 family advocates. So what they're doing is with families that have more needs than just the medical needs and the immediate, medical needs that their children have, is that they need to be connected to transportation, if they need to have more stable housing, if there is a learning delay, if there are indications for autism, what can we do? And instead of sending them to another agency, these 2 family advocates are actually on staff at this pediatric clinic where they help and assist the families directly. And what they're finding, and I think we all know this from the research that's been out there, is that in order to be ready to learn, it isn't just the brain, it isn't just our learning that happens inside of our head. Our body has got to be prepared. We've got to be healthy. Our teeth have got to be healthy in order for us to be able to learn effectively and to be there all day. Think about going to work with a toothache and how effective you would be. We need to focus on the health needs of our children and making sure that they are fully prepared to learn both physically as well as emotionally and intellectually. So that's Healthy Steps. We have a number of partners that are helping us with childcare vouchers. We work closely with the Rock Hill Housing Authority. They have a federally funded program where they are working with families to move them from Rock Hill Housing Authority properties in order to afford their own home and to be self-sufficient. So we work and manage childcare vouchers with them for childcare centers. We also have a pilot program with the United Way and with York Tech for some of their students. And then we have other childcare vouchers for teen parents that are either in our Parents as Teachers program or our Nurse Family Partnership program. We can also help and assist getting you connected to ABC for ABC state vouchers. And then I'm going to show you here in a minute, when I finish going through our programs, I'm going to show you some resources as to where you can go and get connected to resources that are out there. And there's actually, for whether you have a child getting ready to go into 4K, it'll tell you what program you may be eligible for and what programs are in your area. Also, it will highlight some of our services, but I'll go through that in just a minute. With regard to community-based literacy, we work with churches and other organizations that wish to help children have access to high-quality literacy, age-appropriate literacy. So we work with a number of different partners throughout the county. And then our last program down there is Connected Families. This is taking parents as teachers, which is, again, moving and helping parents understand their role and to develop the skills to provide parenting. But in this particular case, we're working with families that have an active investigation or an active case with the Department of Social Services. So there may be foster care involved. There may be there are issues of either neglect or abuse, but we're working with those families directly with home visitation so that those families can work their way through the issues that cause the problem with the children, that the Department of Social Services became involved, and helping them get out of that cycle. One of the things that we find, and this is a pilot program, and we're one of 7 counties in the state that are working with this pilot program. One of the things that they found is that the rate of recidivism within families that have an abuse or neglect case is fairly high in South Carolina. And the idea being here is, what can we provide as a service that we can break that cycle? Because whatever is working there isn't addressing the fundamental issues. And one of the things that we have found in working with in partnership with the Department of Social Services is that because we're in the home on a more regular basis, that we can help follow up on the treatments that the family are supposed to go through, the other type of programs that they need to be connected to, and we can help follow up and make sure that they're doing it. So, months don't go on and then somebody comes back and says, oh, you didn't go to Keystone, you didn't go do your anger management course. We can follow up that on a 1 to 2 week basis in making sure that they're following up with their treatments. And by getting them there and making new habits, is that we're finding more of those families are being reunited with their kids and being able to not have repeat visits from the Department of Social Services. So again, this is Connected Families. So when we look at the landscape in York County, there are over 15,000 children under the age of 5 years old. So, we're looking at roughly about 3,000 children in York County. And as we all know, population-wise, Rock Hill represents a significant portion of the county population. So a good portion of those 15,000. Of that 15,000, 8,000, or over half, are experiencing poverty. And that's one of the things that, as we look at where are those risk factors, what are those things that parents can do, there's a lot that just doesn't cost money that we can work with the families in order to provide the type of nurturing and the type of educational opportunities that the children have. That doesn't necessarily require a lot of extra money. When we talk about teaching literacy, having a child sit on your lap, and I know we've all done this if we've had children, where we've read the book 10,000 times. Well, a change in that is to have them read the book to you. They may not be able to read the words, but they can tell you a great story. And most of them will have memorized it by the time you've read it 10,000 times. And that is an opportunity for them to interact, for them to tell you. And those are the type of steps about literacy and learning to be able to read that a child needs to go through. So those type of skills, doing crafts, all type of opportunities, because again, the child, as they go through how to hold a pencil, how to hold a crayon, going through and beginning to write their name, letters, the scribble scrabble, all of those are bona fide steps in learning that every child must go through. The child, when they first pick up a pen, is not going to write a perfect A. They're going to have to play around with it. They're going to have to work with it. And that's one of the things that we want to help parents understand, how to guide that and support that, and to make that move into the right direction, nurturing wise, so that the child is ready to learn when they go to school. So as our role and responsibility is to help with public awareness, I get a check mark for that tonight. Be the resident expert in early childhood interventions. And this is whether we provide the services or not. If you have a question about an early intervention or an early childhood program, call us. Whether we provide the services or not, we'll get you connected where you need to go. And it will be a warm handoff. It won't be a matter of, hey, I'm going to give you a list of a bunch of places to call. No, I'm going to tell you the right person that you need to go and you need to talk to. So please feel free to contact us. And our website, if you do a search of York County First Steps, you'll see our website right there with all of our contact information. The third item is to marshal the needed resources to provide the needed services, which includes being the convener with other organizations when needed. When we were authorized in legislation over 20 years ago, one of our roles to play in the community and in the county is to help other people that are in early childhood coordinate our efforts. So I actually serve on the Early Learning Partnership Board. So our board and their board, we work together so that, one, there isn't duplication, and two, that we don't create gaps by not being in contact with each other. We also work very closely with the school districts. We work very closely with the United Way, and there are a whole host of community partners that we work with in order to coordinate our services and the limited resources that everyone has, in order to make sure that, one, there are no gaps and that we are not having duplication. So this is one of the roles that we play in the community. So I'm going to reduce this, and I'm going to go to one other site to show you where there are a number of other resources that I hope that you will avail yourself of. Hopefully everybody can see that. This is
David,
yes.
you probably have to stop sharing this one and then share what you want to show.
Got it. Thank
It's
you.
not showing.
New share. And how's that?
Great.
Good. Thank you, Cindy. One of the things is this is the First Step site at the state office. So if you do First Steps of South Carolina, you will find this site. On here is, you can go through and you can find out about our organization, but there are a number of resources, and that's where I wanted to go. So when you go to For Families, what we do when we talk about programs and resources for families. So I am actually on this second tab under Resources for Families. So as you look here, there's support in your community, but if you keep scrolling down here, it will talk about what does it mean to be ready for school. And we all want to, and you know, as we've all grown up, we learn at different paces. We have different things that we may gravitate to. Math may be one that we gravitate more to versus letters and other people's letters. So if you go here to learn more, there's a profile of the Ready Kindergartner. Now, I encourage you that if your child is even 2, 3 years old, before they get ready to go to kindergarten, come here and look up this profile of the Ready Kindergartner. And you're able to print this out if you wish. But one of the things that I want to highlight, when we talk about getting ready for school, we as a society tend to lean heavily on literacy. Can you read? Do you know your letters? Can you write? And literacy is important, but there are 4 other learning domains that are also important in a child's development and a child being ready to go to school. You'll see that there are approaches to learning and inquiry. You see, demonstrates eagerness to learn, that they want to learn, maintains attention, that they, as age appropriate, that they can pay attention to you. Emotional and social development, shows self-control, is able to interact with others. These are things that a child needs to know as they get ready to go to school. And what you can use this for, as I'll scroll down a little bit forward, you'll also see mathematical thinking and physical development, how they're able to move and whether they're able to use their fingers to control. Can they pick up small objects? Can they use eye-hand coordination to perform simple tasks like putting together a puzzle? Those are all signs and stages of a child's evolution, their development to getting ready to school, the mathematical thinking. So as you look at this, you can kind of gauge where your child is. Now, again, all children learn at different things at different rates. Not everybody knows every single one of these when they start kindergarten, but they should have a number of these that they can do quite well. And you'll see some of these. I know quite a few 3-year-olds who can count to more than 20. So again, it gives you an idea as to where your child is. Also speaking and understanding, early reading, and then early writing. So this is, again, it's on the state site under resources for parents. And then it talked about why this is important, getting ready for kindergarten and being ready for school. And this is a helpful guide that you can kind of get an idea. Now, I encourage you that as your child has other opportunities to be around other children, you'll get a sense and you'll get an idea as to where they are in relationship to others. And I think an idea is, if there is something that you feel that you're concerned about, speak with your pediatrician, speak with others that are in the field, and they can help you get connected. If you have a concern, you can also call us and we can then get a screening and get your child diagnosed as to whether there is just a delay or whether there is indeed a learning disability. Continuing down, there is First 5 and Palmetto Pre-K. I want to highlight these real quick before I turn this over back to Cindy. Is the Palmetto Pre-K, that if you are interested in finding a pre-K program, you come here and you go to a site and it will begin to ask you questions for you going through the process, whether you're eligible for free pre-K, and you go through this and it will find a preschool for you. There is a similar program. Let's see if it'll let me go backwards. There we go. There's a similar tab here for First 5. If you want to understand what programs and services are out there and whether they're in your area, you can go to this First 5 and it will get you to what services are available in your community. And if you make a referral or you're looking for services, this will actually come directly to us. So I hope this has been an opportunity for you to connect, find out what's available in Rock Hill, and hopefully you'll be able to go to these sites and be able to see what services that you can tap into in order to help you. So I am going to stop sharing here. And Cindy, hopefully you've been able to work out your technical problems.
Yes, I have, and I do apologize. Obviously, working at this from my office, I had it set up, but coming home to work on it, it had a mind of its own, and we all have learned so much during COVID. But now, coming back, it's been interesting. Can you see that okay?
I can see brain development. You haven't gone to full screen, but that's okay.
There we go.
There we
Okay. And again, I had let Dr. Turner know my internet is unstable tonight, so I'll try my best. So as I mentioned earlier, and again, I apologize, my name is Cindy Talvin-Kimmel, and I'm the coordinator of ParentSmart, Rock Hill Schools Parent Education Partnership, where parents are at the heart of education. Okay. And as Dr. Turner mentioned, we are talking tonight about the thrills and spills of parenting, and David did a great job of telling us and sharing with us about all the things that goes into preparing your children for school. But what's most important to help your child develop, learn, and grow to reach their full potential is the role that the parents play, and that's where ParentSmart comes in. ParentSmart has an array of services for parents, and as David mentioned, we provide parents as teachers, which is a personal home visitation program for children birth to 5 years of age. Again, my computer has a mind of its own. We go into the home and we share developmental information as well as assessments and resources and referrals. I apologize. We also help the parents to understand that they are their child's first teacher and that they themselves have the knowledge and learn the skills in order to help their child prepare for school. I'll go into that more a little bit later. We also have a family literacy program where parents and children come to school together to learn. Parents come to school together with their children ages 2 to 5 years of age, and they each work in their respective classrooms, whether they're in the adult ed classroom, working towards their GED or a certificate, or in the ESL classroom, working to learn English and become proficient in the English language. This year, we have parents that speak Spanish, Dari, and Mandarin, which has been really exciting for us. We also have the early childhood classroom where the children go to learn, and we do follow the state standards and the early learning standards. And we work with them together with our teachers and our assistants to make sure that they're on target for their learning and their education. And then we come together to learn, whether it be a packed session on motor development or language development or social emotional development or something such as that. We also do group connections and screenings. We have a teen parent program where we serve teens in our school district. And as David mentioned, we're very fortunate to partner with York County First Steps in order for our teens to stay in school and remain in school by receiving vouchers. We have newsletters, and we also have the Sylvia Circle Family Learning Center, where we have several support agencies to help support parents. So what is Parents as Teachers? It helps parents understand the child development and connects them to resources to make better choices for their families. Parents as Teachers offers free programming through our partnership with York County First Steps, with the Early Learning Partnership, with several different entities in York County, as well as funding from the Sisters of Mercy Foundation. There's 4 components to the visits that parents engage in with a parent educator, a certified parent educator: personal visits, group connections, resource connections, and screenings. The 4 primary goals are to increase the parents' knowledge of early childhood and improve their skills, to provide early detection of suspected developmental delays by referring to either BabyNet or Child Find within the school district, to prevent child abuse and neglect, and to increase knowledge in school readiness for parents. My computer definitely has a mind of its own tonight. In doing the research from the National Coalition of Parent Involvement states that no matter their income or background, students with involved parents are more likely to have higher grades and test scores and attend school more regularly, have better social skills, and improved outcomes. Parents really hold the key to their child's future, and that's our goal in helping parents and empowering them as their child's first teacher. David touched a little bit on the brain development. There's different aspects to the brain development, and one of the ways that I try to explain it to parents is think about if you have a fresh container of Play-Doh, and you have one that you keep the top on and one that you don't. The one that you keep the top on, you can nurture and you can mold and you can make different things out of, you and your child. But then if you go to the one that has the top off for a very long time, it gets hard. And if you pick it up and it cracks, it's not easy to manipulate. Think about that in relation to the development of the brain. The brain needs to be nurtured. It needs to be stimulated. It needs to be just challenged to learn and grow. The more that you talk to the child, the more that you read with your child, the more that you engage with your child, those synapses happen, and therefore the brain grows and expands. And those first 3 years are the critical time to have that brain develop. Those are the critical years that really have influence later learning in life. Warm, responsive parents who cuddle and talk and read to their children provide challenging learning experiences to promote healthy brain development. And then we have the intellectual development, intellectual or cognitive development, the growth of the child's ability to think and reason. Those are some of the most important skills that a child needs to know in order to be successful in school. It's about how to organize their minds, their thoughts, and their thinking processes. It begins to reason and argue using words like why and because. Children who are healthy come to school ready to learn. And then we touch on literacy, and David touched a little bit on this as well. Children who are proficient readers by the end of 3rd grade are more likely to achieve higher educational outcomes. During our personal visits, we provide books for every family, and that's thanks to the Early Learning Partnership of York County and York County First Steps. Reading skills are modeled for parents, and then we ask the parents to model the skills as well. So we may read, or the parent may read, and as David said, the child can then read too. And if they don't know the words, or if it's a different language, you can always do a story walk with the pictures. It's very engaging to do that. When my children were little, I used to write down how they retold the story that I shared 10,000 times. And it's very interesting to go back and read those later on. Parents are encouraged to read to their children every day, and we provide our services both in English and Spanish for our international families. And then what the personal visitation looks like. During the PAT visit, we work with the parent. We come in, we bring our resources and handouts for parents in their home language, and we share that information with the parent. Then we bring a developmentally appropriate activity to model for the parents, for you to do with your child. And we leave books there so that you can build your own library at home. We also do an interaction where we have the child to engage, and we have the parent observe what the child is doing and how important those skills are. And if they're not on target, things that the parents can do to enhance that development. Again, the parent is the child's first teacher. Then we have our family literacy program. Again, we provide adult education, early childhood education, parent education, and parent and child interactive literacy. In the adult education classroom, they're either working on their high school equivalency diploma or English as their second language. In the HSED class, they're working towards their GED and sometimes certificates, a gold, silver, or bronze. In some cases, that can help a parent if they're unable to achieve the GED, or until they achieve the GED, they may be able to use that certificate to go to an employer and share that with them in order for them to pursue an employment. In our early childhood education class, as I mentioned earlier, we use the state standards and the early learning standards. We do serve this year children 2 to 5 years of age before they go to school, or even if they're in school. We have some children that do dual enrollment between ParentSmart and Central Child Development Center. So the children come to us for an hour and a half, and then they go to Central for the rest of the day. We also partner with Head Start because they're in our building, and we make sure that the children are on target. We provide parent education through group connections, and we survey the parents to find out what they would like to learn more about. It's not about just learning to read, learning your ABCs, your 1, 2, 3s, and your colors. It's much more than that. And we want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. And then our parent and child interactive literacy activities. That's where we bring the parents together to learn. And it's if you ever have the opportunity and you want to come to visit us, please do, because to watch the parents and children in action with our early childhood staff is something that is really amazing. We are at our last session, we had one where we had, it was for Earth Day and for Frog Hopping's Fun during Come See Me. And we did the life cycle of a frog. And the children got to feed the frogs for the first time, and they were thrilled. They were so excited. Then we have our teen parent program. And we know that there are some teens that are in the school district that are parents as well. Not only do they go to school, not only are they a parent, but in a lot of cases, they're also employed and they have a lot on their plates. So they need that extra support and that extra person that they can talk to outside sometimes of the people that are most close to them, whether it be the counselor at school, whether it be one of their parent educators, or somebody from the mental health department in our school district. But we want to see them succeed as well. And we would like them to be successful whereby they graduate and then maybe go on to higher education and pursue employment. With our teen programs, the parents receive home visitation at their home. They also have group meetings in the schools once a month. And again, we have vouchers available in a limited number for parents that need childcare that might not be able to provide that themselves or afford it themselves through our partnership with York County First Steps. That really helps to support our teen parents. One of our teams happened to share, she says, I really want you to both graduate in talking to her children. She wants them all to graduate and to go to college. And she said that they can be anything that they want to be. And then our outcomes. How do we get our outcomes? We all know that funding these days, we have to have outcomes. And that's a lot of times what we're measured by. Parents like to see their child's report card. Parents like to know what's happening with their child at school, and are they getting they're achieving the goals and the markers that they're supposed to. Well, we have the same thing. And as David was mentioning earlier about the ages and stages, we do screenings with the ages and stages questionnaire and ages and stages social emotional learning. Both of those help us to know if your child's on target. You can actually find these online under Pearson Learning. They are available online to some extent. And you also, if you don't know, you can go to the CDC to look at the milestones, to look at where your child should be at their particular age. And if they're not where you think they should be, or according to what the milestones may say, you could always give us a call and say, I have some questions, or I'm not sure my child's not talking like other children, or walking, or something to that effect. And then we can help to connect you with support agencies. We also do what's called the life skills progression and a healthy families parenting inventory. And those are to help parents establish goals. We don't assume what parents need. The parent is the child's first teacher, and they know their children best. So we want to work with our parents to set goals that are acceptable and achievable within their own family. We provide the screenings during the year twice, and if a developmental delay does occur, or we see a red flag, we refer to the school district for children over the age of 3 through Child Find, or to BabyNet for children under the age of 3. And then today we had a wonderful summit. David was talking about Countdown to Kindergarten. It was wonderful, and it will be available on YouTube, and we'll make sure to share it on our social media when it's available, and as I'm sure First Steps will. But anyway, Dr. Kimberly Johnson, who is one of our favorite people, shared part of the summit this morning. And one of the things that she shared is how you can help your child reach their first potential. And that's how I started. How can you support your child and help them reach their full potential? And one of the things she shared today was this slide. And she said, every day is an opportunity to teach. One is the T in teach. Talk the positive. Be as positive as possible. It's difficult out there, and we know everyone's challenged and everybody's short on time. And the world we live in is not like the world probably a lot of us grew up in. However, there's a lot of positivity out there, and we need to make sure that our children have a positive attitude and outlook so that they can be positive and they can learn. Two, expect success. We always want to set our children up for success, no matter what it takes. It might be in very, very, very small baby steps, or it might be in leaps and bounds. Either way, be patient and expect success from your children. Three, accept the challenges. Like I mentioned a minute ago, there are a lot of challenges out there, especially following COVID, and we understand that, and we are very cognizant of that. But we also have to help our children to understand that we can overcome the challenges by being positive and by seeking out the resources and the help that they may need, or the help that you may need as a parent. C is number 4, to create space for joy and reflection. That goes back to positivity, success, and being positive about challenges. Just make sure to bring joy and reflection to your children. Help them reflect on the positive. If there is a challenge that comes up, help them to reflect on it and how they can appropriately handle that challenge and move forward from it. And that may be if they're 2, 4, 6, or 18, you can help them that way. And then 5 is H, for helping each other. It is difficult. It is hard to be a parent. It is hard to be a child. But if we're there to support and help each other, both our parents, you yourself, and your children can be successful. This is just some information about the quality with our program. We do have to meet standards for our programming and our outcomes. And we were very fortunate back in 2020 to receive our certification through Parents as Teachers, which, as David said, is a national program, and receive a Blue Ribbon affiliate certification. It was a rigorous process, and the year that we went through it, we happened to be at home during COVID, but we achieved it. We worked hard, and we were very fortunate to achieve it. We will go through the recertification again in 2025. Will actually be ParentSmart's 30th anniversary. This is just a slide of our outcomes last year. And one of the things that I'll bring to your attention is that 93% of our respondents said that they would highly recommend Parents as Teachers and the ParentSmart program. And we're very thankful to our parents for sharing that. And then here's our contact information. As David said, if you do have questions, if you do need help and you're not sure where to go, call First Steps, call ParentSmart. You can connect to us through the school district at 981-1557 or on our website. And we can actually connect you with First Steps if you just remember going to the school district because they happen to be housed in our building. So thank you for your time.
Well, thank you to both David and Cindy. First, kudos to you, Cindy, for ignoring all those technical difficulties and being such a professional and expert in your field that it didn't matter. It didn't matter what the slide said because you knew it and you knew what to say. So
I just hope that I didn't make anybody a little dizzy by going back and forth 100 times.
It kept us on our toes.
I turned it off, but it just, you know, as we all learned during COVID, we learned to just modify and adjust.
That's correct. You did beautifully. I want to go first to David's presentation. Wow, such strong collaboration and partnership. Just York County, all of the resources that you mentioned, the York County First Steps. My goodness, I loved, and I had not seen that website yet. You know, I'm very familiar with the South Carolina graduate, you know, profile of the grad, but I had not seen the South Carolina profile of a ready kindergartner, and that is so exciting because, as we all know, kindergarten is so different from when we were in kindergarten, or even 10 years ago, kindergarten, and that is so awesome. And particularly, and we've had many presentations on social emotional learning and areas of just emotional and social development, to have that included, along with all the other very important pieces of learning, how just wonderful to have that updated and just so current. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Cindy, I love the quote, every day is truly an opportunity to teach. I will remember that from now on, because it's so true, from our new babies up through even our old children. So we have to remember that. But there's so much wonderful resources and information that you have shared, and I thank you so much. What about the chat, Cindy? Was there anything?
There's no questions in the chat. Wendy Cole, one of our Rock Hill School Board members, thanks us for all the information. But I did want to mention for the parents out there that if you do need resources, if you go to the school district webpage under families, I believe there is a resource. There actually are 2 resource guides on there that are available to parents, that are updated on a regular basis. And you can search for things such as housing, transportation, food, childcare, adult services, mental health services, an array of different things that parents can tap into. And then the other thing that I wanted to add from the Summit for Countdown this morning is another thing that Dr. Johnson shared, was also for us to look at our children as leaders.
Mhm.
Right from birth. You know, our children are, there was another speaker as well, they talked about when our children are born, they're born as, if you think of a cup, they're born as the empty cup, and you have to fill and put into it and add to it and nurture it the rest of their lives. And it doesn't matter how old they are. I have children who are over 35 and I'm still filling their cup. Mine, sometimes they fill it till it's overflowing, but that's okay. But anyway, she talked about thinking of our children as leaders, and just when you're talking to them and when you're bonding with them and reading with them in such a way that they feel that they could lead themselves, and think about the outcomes that they can have if you start at the beginning and you do some of the things that we suggested tonight. We will have wonderfully educated leaders in the future.
I think that's sound advice. David, anything that you'd like to add?
The last thing that I would say is that parenting is the most challenging job you'll ever have in your entire life. And I have, my youngest just turned 35. And like Cindy, I'm still feeling, we're still exchanging, we're still parenting, we'll always be. And there aren't many instructions. And my wife ran daycare centers for 30 years. And when we worked with parents, and she was very involved in the parents, we didn't find any parents that didn't care. We found parents that were overwhelmed. We found parents that didn't know where to turn. They just needed somewhere to go and to connect, somewhere to get some help and assistance. And it may just be an ear to say, hey, what you're going through is normal. So I encourage all parents out there, if you're up to your neck and you just don't know where to turn, reach out. there's a number of places to reach out to and to connect to, and that will give you a hand between Cindy, the Rock Hill School District, York County First Steps. There's a number of agencies and partners that are out there that want to help you be the best parent you can be, because we know that that's what you want to do. And that's what we want to help you do and achieve.
Thank you. And it is so true. And I hope that we are reaching all of our community members, and that our community members share this with their neighbors and others in the community. Both of you, pillars of support for our young children, our infants, and our parents. And my thank you, not only for York County, but for our Rock Hill community. So thank you for your presentation tonight, for your passion, and all of your words of advice. So welcome.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Oh,
Thank you,
yes.
Dr. Turner.
I
And
wanted
we
to
look
just,
forward to next week.
yes, thank you. And I thank you for that transition. I was going to transition to, that's why you're my co-host too, Cindy. So I appreciate that. I did want to mention, as we all know, we are moving into the month of May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. May was originally and officially recognized as Mental Health Awareness Month in 1949, quite a while ago, but to bring attention to the importance of mental health and to reduce the stigma surrounding mental illness. We are still working on this. I think we are moving forward, but we still have a ways to go. So during the month of May, we want to see our community as individuals and organizations and other community groups join us, the Rock Hill community, as we raise awareness for our mental health and stress the importance of mental health care. So a few things I'd like to share with the community. First, May 1st, Green Ribbon Day. So in Rock Hill and Rock Hill schools, please wear green. Any green, green ribbon in the hair, green top, green, whatever green you'd like. Please display green, and that will be our sign and serve as a reminder that mental health is a critical part of overall health and well-being for everyone. Also, we will have lawn signs for all of our schools. I'll be meeting at the warehouse tomorrow for all of our schools, and we thank you for NAMI and all of our folks at NAMI for working hand in hand with the Rock Hill schools. As Cindy mentioned, for the Parent Academy presentations, we have some awesome presentations ahead of us. May 4th, Ms. Gail Wright, a personal testimony on domestic violence and substance abuse. The 11th, Ms. Sarah Tittman, endings and saying goodbye. For secondary students, NAMI panel, what parents need to know, and these are youth voices, so young adults that are going to tell their story. That should be fascinating. And then May 25th, NAMI panel as well, about cultural competency and ties with mental health. So we hope that you will all tune in then. We look forward to seeing you in the month of May and next week and in the community. Again, thank you, David Lisk. Thank you, Cindy Taubman-Kimmel. And thank you, Rock Hill. We hope to see you soon. Have a good night.